Hello and welcome back to my channel. I hope you enjoyed the previous video of my 100 to 92 top 100 greatest games of all time. We're going to carry on this list and see how far we can get in this video. So I'm going to kick it off with Samurai Warriors 4-2, which came out on Windows in 2014. And the reason this game is going on my list at number 91 is because it just takes the Warriors franchise over the edge, takes it to the next level, brings you plenty more of what you already love and what you already know, which is brilliant. And it's got a sort of level of customization in there which is really good. You know, you can make a good few officers. It's a shame it doesn't have the whole mode plugged in, like the whole Empires mode all in one package. That's where Koei Tecmo fall down a bit. I think they get a bit greedy and release, you know, the same game with different elements in it for different platforms when they should just give us it all. Because Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires, you know, you can use all of your created officers all in one map, whereas this one you can only use 2. But you do get to switch between them during battle, which is really fucking awesome. Because before in Dynasty Warriors you could only switch weapons, but now you can actually switch people. So yeah, that's why this game's at number 91, because it's fucking brilliant. It's a colourful masterpiece. So moving on to our number 90. So then, at number 90, we have Golden Sun on the Game Boy Advance, which came out in 2002. Now, this is a charming little game. It's a little bit similar to Pokemon, the way you sort of have little monsters. They're not the same, and the battling's kind of the same. It's like a turn-based battling system, but it was just something charming at the time. And the reason I fell in love with it is because I wasn't in a great position at that time in my life. And Golden Sun was my perfect escape from all of that. I literally just completed it over the course of a few days, you know, no guide, no manual, just me and my mind. And that's the reason it goes on this list, just because it helped me get through a bad time. So you start off as this kid called Isaac, or whatever you decide to name him, which is brilliant because, you know me, I love customization in games, even if it's just a name. So yeah, you start off as that kid and you sort of go around this village and say there's like a storm and there's boulders are coming down and you have to save them, and then you sort of end up saving the world. So it's just one of those charming little stories that just develop into something massive, and it's worth a play. It's definitely worth a play. I haven't actually played the next one, but I do plan to. So there you go, Golden Sun, number 90. So at number 89 we have Mario Party 8 on the Wii. It came out in 2007. This game was really awesome because it was like 4-player and it was like a board game in a computer game. It was cool and it was really fun to play. You didn't have to tidy up afterwards as well, which is also good. But it was all about the mini games in this game. There was so freaking many, and I'm going to get confused here because I played 7, 8, and a little bit of 9 as well. So I can't remember all of the games, but I just remember them being really fun, and the board just changing constantly. You get thrown back to the beginning, bit of Snakes and Ladders in there. Yeah, just a great game overall, and it was a little bit different, you know, from all the hack slash and killing that was around during that time. So yeah, it was a breath of fresh air in that sense. And it had all the classic Mario characters, including Wario and Waluigi, who were new to me at the time. I didn't really play much of them. I think I played a Wario game back on the Game Boy, actually, back in the day, Wario World or something like that. So I only knew him from them. So Waluigi was brand new, and it was 4-player again, and with the little Wii remotes, it was just so interactive, and that's why it deserves a spot on this list, I think. So yeah, we're going to move on to the next game now. So at number 88 we've got a game called Might and Magic Clash of Heroes. It came out in 2011 on the PS3, and it was something new actually. I'd never played anything like this game before. I got it off the PlayStation Plus. It was one of the monthly games that they used to give away when they used to give away good games. Uh, Now this game, it's got a really sort of unique art style to it, and the way it plays out is sort of a turn-based sort of, I can't explain it. You've got these armies and you have to stack them in three, like in, you know, match 3 games or match 4 games, and they sort of do an attack towards the enemy army. It's a very interesting concept with RPG elements all over and through it, and you could, you know, level up and stuff and do these big attacks. And it had multiplayer as well, which was kind of cool, which you needed to do to get the trophies for it if you were interested in that sort of thing. So yeah, if you haven't played it now, it's still actually worth a play. You could probably get it off the PlayStation Store for PS4 or something like that. So yeah, give it a go. It's an interesting game. So moving on to number 87, then we have Star Wars Jedi Power Battles. Now, this is an awesome game. It came out on the PSX in 2000, and it was the Star Wars game that I always wanted, really. You could just run around as Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and a few others, actually, and you could just sort of play the episode 1, well, parts of episode 1, and it was like so cool. The lightsaber noises, the soundtrack, and the fact that you could deflect bullets as well. I really loved that mechanic. I used that an awful lot, and it was one of those games as well that I didn't complete again because it was just so freaking hard. The 2-player aspect was awesome as well, running around with your mate, swinging your lightsaber around and just mashing up loads of droids, just reliving that story that was one of the most epic Star Wars stories. And yeah, spoiler alert, this isn't the last Star Wars game on this list either. So yeah, we're going to move on now to the next game. So cracking on with this list then, at number 86 we have World Cup Italia 90 that came out on the Mega Drive in 1990. Now this was like a isometric football game. It didn't have sort of many game modes in it. It was just sort of World Cup mode, or you can have a couple of friendlies. But I spent hours on this game. I didn't own this game. It was on a friend's console I played this, but I used to go around there just to play this game. It was just one of those games. It wasn't great, but it took my attention for a very long period of my life. At least a year we used to kick this game out for, and just battle it against each other just to hear that that amazing and satisfying sound, that Gah! Whenever you score. That was about the only sort of feature that happened during the game. There wasn't that many animations in the game anyway, and it was a really cool game. It had like a top-down view like the old Grand Theft Auto games, and you could just play it for hours because it was really easy to score. So it's just about who can score the most, pretty much. So yeah, play it if you have never played it. Give it a go. You probably download it or something like that. Yeah, moving on to the next one. So the next game I'm going to talk about is a game called Lost Horizon. It came out in 2010 for Windows, actually, and it's a historical point-and-click adventure. So there's no sort of action sequences or anything like that. It's pure story. So if you like a good story like me, this is one for you. This is one sort of against the Germans, and it is based in World War II in 1936. So yeah, just as at the beginning of World War II, and you play as this guy who's the protagonist, and he's basically got to overcome all the odds, and you've got to solve all the little puzzles in the game in order to get to the end. It's basically Broken Sword, but in wartime. And if you like Broken Sword like me, which I do an awful lot, which you'll see by this list, then give this game a go, because it's one of those point and click adventures that you just play and you probably never play again, but it leaves a mark on you. The art style in there is something different as well to look at. So yeah, give it a little look.
Welcome to Raw, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming to you live tonight from Tarhelia, from Raleigh.
So next up at 84, we got SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. That came out in 2007. I played it on the PS2. Sorry, the PS3. They're getting confused again. One of the best games of all time, simply because it was just fun to play. The character customization in there was next to none. You know, wrestling games have always I always hold them in high regard when it comes to character customization, because they always have the most amount of choices that you can ever do, and the community that's always behind them, that, you know, to help you make the other wrestlers in the game, because there was no internet back then, and there was no, like, you know, downloading the files and putting them on your computer. There's no sharing like that. So, you know, in this game you had to follow instructions to make the other guys, which is really fun, you know. And you can make your own guy and take him through the whole league. I think this 2008 and 2007 actually, they had like the general manager mode in there as well. It was quite a good mode to play. If you like something a bit different than just going match by match and wrestling and stuff. But there's nothing like a good career mode in one of the WWE games, and that's why you'll see probably a few of them on this list, and a couple maybe in the honourable mentions towards the end, because they're just great games and they're fun to play, you know, multiplayer. I think I can't remember when the change was made, but nowadays you can't play 8 players where you could before, you know, all in the ring at the same time, or at least 6 players on one of them. I think it was just crazy shit, all the backroom brawls. And in this one, actually, when you do the ECW matches and stuff, you can the crowd would hand you things like crutches and stuff, and you can beat up your opponent with that. So it had a nice element adding the ECW in there as well. So yeah, moving on to our next game. So next on our list is Skyrim, The Elder Scrolls V. This came out on Windows in 2011, but I didn't get around to playing this game till 2015 at some point. It took me a while, but I really did enjoy this game. The big thing that made me like this game the most was the mods. I've never played a game with so many mods that I'd added to the game before in my life, and that was such an experience to me, because I was a big fan of like games like Icewind Dale and Baldur's Gate, where you have a party with you. My favourite mod was the party mod, basically, where you could have any characters follow you around. I think I had about 3 or 4 following me around, so that was really, really cool. I didn't actually finish this, but I must have spent at least 200 hours in that world, just messing around, slashing people up, building a house, of course, and killing dragons, which was fucking awesome, man. So yeah, I really enjoyed Skyrim, and if you haven't played it, I suggest you do go and play it, or play the special edition that's just come out with no extra content. Give that a go. So that was the last game on the list for the time being. I'll see you next time with number 81 onwards. Have a good day.